how'd you get here?
Dude, this game came out in 2021, which is wild to me because people were talking about this as like a look-see into what the next 3D Mario game was gonna be like. And then, you know, where's that 3D Mario game? Nintendo, where is it? I need it so bad. But like, this was so wild to see happen because we had been getting a lot of Nintendo like Wii U re-releases, and everyone was very much they hated them. They absolutely despised them. Unless it was like Zelda, unless it was the Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD experience, the compilation that people are still clamoring for even now. Nobody wanted to see this, right? But somehow, they took the tides, they turned the tides, and we're like, actually, we're gonna make people insanely excited about this random re-release of a 3D Mario game that, like, yeah, people like, and people talk about it a lot more positively now, but at the time of this game's release, I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible. When the fuck was anybody talking about 3D World? Like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The Wii U was just seen as such a colossal failure. I don't think anybody was even considering 3D World as even remotely close to one of the best 3D Mario games. But now people are talking about it left, right, and center, and they're saying, well, actually, little fucking nerd emoji, well, actually, well, actually, I think that, you know, and it's wild. It's fucking wild to be seeing that. And, I think a big part of that Switch was honestly, you know, this re-release on the Switch. Do you guys get it? Guys, please like and subscribe. Please, that was such a good joke. Please, I need this, please. But no, seriously, like, I think this re-release was one of, if not the only reason people had a massive Switch on this. And part of that is because they gave you so much extra content alongside of it. Not only did they completely revamp the moveset in ways that just, I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible, I can never go back to the original game because they genuinely added oh my god, they fucking changed the way that I view this game, dude. They added a dive, which, yeah, it doesn't seem that crazy, and honestly, compared to other dives in 3D Mario games, it's really not that nuts, but they also made it so that you can wall jump and then change your midair trajectory so that you can dive onto platforms that you wouldn't have been able to get to earlier, which in a way acts as a form of like double jump that they added, right? As long as you can wall jump, you can do this really cool, effectively double jump that requires a lot of skill, and it's just like these small tweaks, these small changes, plus the ground pound jump, it's like, oh my god, there's so many ways to interact with this game now and this level design in ways that weren't intended, but make it such a good and honestly flat out better experience than before. And then obviously, you know, I'm not even talking about the elephant in the room, you know, the big fat fucking elephant in the room. This Bowser's Fury expansion existing, like, come on. This alone completely just changed the thought process around the release of this, because instead of being like, oh my god, we're getting another fucking Wii U game, god damn it, it's another non-Wind Waker HD, non-Twilight Princess HD compilation, it's another bullshit thing. And again, people didn't really give a flying fuck about the base game at this point, just flat out, they didn't give a shit, right? Then they showed off this, and suddenly it wasn't, oh, you're buying a re-release of Mario 3D Land. It's, yeah, you're getting Mario 3D Land on the side of a new 3D Mario game. Which is just a fucking nuts way to go about marketing this shit, right? Like, this small expansion pass re-release thing is such a good idea, and it's worked, oh my god, it's worked more than once now. We got Sonic X Shadow Generations, which, like, had the exact same fucking thing happen, where we got, yeah, Sonic Generations is on the side, a pretty good game is on the side, right? But then you have, like, fucking Franchise Peak, it's like smack dab right there in the package, and that's the reason people are actually buying this shit. It's just awesome. It's awesome. I don't know if this is the game that really, I guess, sparked that necessarily. I feel like it's the first one that I can personally remember happening like in the broader platforming sphere within like the context of large games and large game re-releases. So again, like Mario, Sonic, you know, the big boy platformers that still get a lot of coverage today, right? And it's just awesome to see, man. It's awesome to see this shit pop off, and getting to play this game. I beat it all, I 100%ed it in a single night. it was so insanely exciting, and everything surrounding the release of this just like it had me perked up, bro. I shouldn't really put it like that, but it had me feeling some kind of way, and there's really no other way that I can put it. But that being said, I have not gone back to it since, and maybe part of that is that I kind of blew my whole load all at once, and I played it and 100% of it all in one sitting, which took maybe about 5, 6, 7 hours, somewhere in there. I know that's a fucking 3-hour long range, but like somewhere in there, right? Not a very long game, but still, a lot of Mario to sit down and experience all at once, right? With that said, maybe that soured my perspective a little bit, because I was experiencing all this content back to back to back to back to back. But I really didn't want to go back to it for a long time. Because again, I played this game February 12th, 2021, bro. Release, frame 1, second 1. Miyamoto, hey, look, Miyamoto dripped this to me in a fucking vial. Like a little liquid. He dripped it in my mouth. That's how I experienced this. Frame 1, second 1, as soon as it dropped from the vial. And, like, I just didn't want to play it. For years. For like 3 years. I never wanted to touch this thing again. And then suddenly, I had this weird, like, epiphany where I was like, maybe I should go back and see if this game is still fire now, and see if I still think this is the direction that 3D Mario should go going forward. Because, like, okay, here's the thing. I don't think Odyssey is how 3D Mario should continue. I don't know if this is going to be a hot take or what, but, like, Mario Odyssey, really fun game, super cool. Horribly boring to replay. Terribly boring. Doesn't require literally any form of platforming, even though the movement is so fucking sick. There's like no reason for you to interact with the world in any interesting way, because it's never asking anything from you, realistically. This game, on the other hand, is very much designed like a more linear, I guess, like I don't know how to say that. And that's not a 2.5D Mario platform, but you get the idea, right? Where it's designed like a linear 2D Mario game, despite being a 3D Mario experience. This is still very much like go from point A to point B, even though there are other collectibles you can get in the meantime, in the quote-unquote like levels that you have, right? It's much more designed like an actual, I guess the best way of saying it, an actual platformer. Right? For me, Mario Odyssey feels very much like it was not designed to be a game that you platformed around in. It was more so like, oh, what's the best way to say this without pissing people off? It feels like a bunch of nothing, pretty much. It feels like you run around, and in a lot of cases you're experiencing a bunch of nothing, and that's kind of my working issue with Mario Odyssey. And this game doesn't feel like that. This game, it feels like you're constantly moving around, you're constantly platforming. There's just a lot of potential movement here that can really impact the way you play, and there's not a whole lot of room for, I guess, error, or there isn't as much room for error as there is in Mario Odyssey, and it feels better to play as a result, I feel. Going from point A to point B, it is much better than Mario Odyssey in terms of giving the player content that feels substantial, I suppose. And maybe part of that is, yeah, there's less these cat shines or whatever. There's less of these than there are moons, which makes them immediately have a degree more value, because like, oh my god, there's this whole conversation that happens surrounding the moons where, you know, you add enough of them and then bam, your collectibles devalue. If you let people get these collectibles from rocks by just walking around and kicking shit or ground pounding, and you have like 3 trillion gazillion of them, a couple thousand, whatever the number is, you end up devaluing that, and you end up making the moons that you get from doing more intense platforming challenges, you make them feel kind of worthless. Because why the fuck would I do this? Why would I go out of my way to get moons from these dumb, like slightly more difficult platforming challenges when I could just go ground pound on something, and then bam, bada bing, bada boom, you get the exact same thing, right? So, this game doesn't have that issue, first of all, because you do actually have to work for them. There's a lot of platforming challenges, a lot of miscellaneous, like, collect this thing in this actually interesting platforming challenge kind of. Yeah, TLDR, you have to platform for things now. It's no longer walk around and kick a rock sim. It is like, you actually have to run around and platform for things. I think that is a massive win. That being said, there is a very, very, very limited amount of things that you can realistically put to collect in these areas, because they are very linear and they are very much just kind of 2D Mario, or, you know, Mario 3D Land, 3D World type of platforming challenges slapped into an open world. And I think to a degree that makes placing a lot of collectibles feel satisfying, and you can kind of like feel the growing pains here a little bit. You can definitely see that like they were trying to add a lot more collectibles that interacted with this Fury Bowser mechanic, and like it just failed a lot of the times. Like I feel like, you know, the main cat shines that you can collect, those are really awesome, those are really cool, they're great, but the rest of the cat shines, especially the ones where you have to wait for Fury Bowser to show up and then he'll just blow up some random blocks and they're just kind of sitting there, that sucks ass. That sucks ass. Every 3D Mario game kind of has those freebie gimme shines. I guess they're there kind of for the lowest common denominator, to make sure that, hey, even if you're a child playing this game, you can get through just fine without having to be very good at platformers. And I get that, and that's fine, whatever. But it is very lame. It's pretty lame. And at the end of the day, while I do think this game is awesome and has a lot of really cool things going for it, I think one of the things that kind of pushed me away from coming back to it for an extended period of time was definitely Fury Bowser, which is so unfortunate because he is obviously the main selling point. This fucked up, grungly ass version of Bowser, like, this is what people wanted, dude. They wanted this version of Bowser. That's why this was so badass. It's like, oh my god, it's Bowser, but like a dark, gritty, fucked up version. Like the picture with the hamburger helper where he's got the evil teeth and shit. The dark inner machinations of my mind have created something that only truly I could think of, and it's fucking Bowser with angry eyebrows and more pointy teeth. But like, genuinely, this was really cool. This version of Bowser is fucking badass, and for a while we hadn't gotten a super interesting, cool version of Bowser. So having this version of him, honestly a massive selling point for the game, and like, it's still cool, it's awesome, but holy shit, man. The Fury Bowser mechanic is so fucking annoying. It is so fucking annoying. He'll appear and just be a dickhead and bother you, and that's kind of his entire reason for existing. And then also, sometimes you'll just need to sit there and wait for him to show up so you can get a cat shine, which is just wasting time. That sucks ass. The only way to get around it, too, is with Amiibo. Thank fucking God they don't make you use Amiibo for literally anything anymore, but like, the entire thing was just scuffed, which is so unfortunate.